The Judicial Conduct Tribunal that's probing sexual harassment allegations against top judge Selby Mbenenge continues today. Now, Mbenenge is expected to take the stand and give his version of events, or alternatively, he'll call his first witness to take the stand. For more on what lies ahead for today's proceedings, let's bring in our senior reporter, Canny Maphanga, who joins us now live. And Kenny, yesterday we heard the tribunal also making a ruling about whether or not Andisa Mengo's team will be able to cross-examine Mbenenge.
Well, it is known that the processes that is the Judicial Conduct Tribunal is governed by the JSC Act, and of course it has its own rules. It is common practice that when a respondent does give their evidence in chief, that they are cross-examined once by the evidence leader, not subjected to cross-examination twice, as it is not accommodated in the legislation that governs this particular process. However, Andisa Mengo's team, in the name of fairness, made that request stating that they would like to cross-examine the top judge and the witnesses that he will be calling, that is 3 witnesses, before he takes the stand. And unfortunately, that request could not be accommodated in terms of the JSC Act and the rules that govern this particular process. But an allowance has been made by the tribunal for Andisa Mengo's legal team to consult with evidence leader, Advocate Salome Skeepers, when that opportunity for cross-examination arises for the top judge, as well as the witnesses that he's going to call, for them to traverse particular areas that they would like to traverse through the evidence leader. So to consult with her to get further clarity on certain issues. So that issue is now closed. That ruling has been made, which means that all the witnesses that you see from the respondent side, that is the top judge as well as the 3 witnesses he will call, will only be cross-examined once they give their evidence in chief. Currently today we are dealing with a new witness. After evidence leader Advocate Salome Skeepers closed her case yesterday, was handed over to the respondents, that is Judge Mbenenge's legal team, and they called their first witness, that is Judge's Secretary Zinhle Ngai, and she's here to shed light on some of those incidents Andisa Mengo alleged took place in the Eastern Cape Division of the High Court, whether it is in the Mthatha High Court or in the Makhanda High Court. We heard evidence previously that she alleged that she peeped through the Judge President's chambers. I think that was his chambers in the Makhanda High Court, and she alleges that she saw him or peeped through and saw him hugging the court manager, allegedly. That is the evidence right now that is currently being dealt with. The witness was only brought to the stand in the afternoon yesterday, so this is a continuation of that we'll see from 9:30 a.m. this morning. We've already seen her give evidence, or rather testify to the contrary, stating that it couldn't possibly be true because as the judge's secretary of the top judge at the time, she did not see Andisa Mengo go into the office and peep through those chambers. She stated that the two went into the office at separate occasions. Once Andisa Mengo was done, she had left the chambers, and then of course the court manager was brought in, and the court manager left their chambers, and then she went back to her chair to do her work. So that is evidence that is being tested through this particular judge's secretary about certain incidents that Andisa Mengo alleged to have taken place in the chambers of the Judge President or in the Eastern Cape Division of the High Court. We expect for them to call another official after this witness, as well as an expert similar to that of Dr. Dokrat, who looks at emojis and those electronic communications to give their analysis of the numerous hundreds of exchanges between Andisa Mengo and the top judge. And then of course we'll hear from the Judge President himself what his version of events are regarding this very serious allegation of sexual harassment in the workplace. We already know that he will deny the allegations that he is facing before the tribunal. And we know that there are some messages of an explicit nature and some evidence of in-person interactions, allegedly of an explicit nature, that he will deny before the tribunal. So it's going to be quite a busy few days as we go through the respondents' evidence, as they'll give their evidence in chief, and then of course they'll be given an opportunity to cross-examine through the evidence leader. And then of course hopefully this will be the final leg of the tribunal before they can come up with the reports that they will give to the JSC on the way forward regarding this fact-finding mission.